Yo, what's up guys, it's Tom and welcome back to a brand new video and a brand new episode of my MotoGP 17 rider career mode here for our debut basically on the Ducati bike. And first things first, I do want to say this video is post-commentated because I had an issue with my Audacity recording the live commentary for this video, so I do apologise for that. And it's going to be basically a post-commentated video for this one. So overall, it's going to be very interesting to see how this one pans out, and hopefully you don't have any issues with me post-commentating this video, as it was basically just a one-off and an issue that doesn't normally occur. So it happened to me once before in the 25 or so odd episodes that we've done of this series. But we're currently in Catalunya for qualifying, and it's our debut on the Ducati. Like I said, in between the last two episodes, I've signed for the Ducati team, and wow, it's been a real big shock so far. The bike is a bit of a beast, I'm not going to lie. The straight line speed, which you can see right now on display, is pretty severe. And as you can see, that was our lap in Q1 in Catalunya, and it was good enough to get us through in second place. So just scraping through there into the second part of qualifying, which is crucial. But as you can see now, we're going to move into the second part of qualifying, and we're going to run on board for the lap here. And as you can see on the first corner, pretty little bit deep into the first corner, missing the apex there as we now go through turn 2 into turn number 3. And so far we're down on our personal best, and also down on the fastest in the session here in the first sector as we go through turn number 3, trying to squat the power on now as we approach now turn number 4. Tricky to pick out a braking zone, got to use the sort of white lines on the outside of the track here as a braking reference, but nice tight line through here, short shift into third as we now approach turn number 5 here. This swooping downhill left-hander here, which is very slow, and you've got to be very careful on the bike and also careful on the traction application as we now go through turn 6, and I'm going to approach turn 7 and 8, but before that, as you see in the sector split, we've lost a little bit more time there, but not too bad. Only a couple of tenths off in the second sector. This is going to be our best attempt of the session. So here we go then through turn 9 now. Second gear corner, short shift into third, trying to get a good exit out of the corner, using all the curb at the disposal as we go onto the back straight. And now coming across the third sector split, slowing it down just before the sign on the right hand side there. Still down on our lap slightly, but still not too bad. We're not too far away. We're on the money still. So now we're going into the final sector, and this is the one where I do perform weakest so far this weekend. But so far it's been pretty damn good. So let's see if we can try and get anything out of it, because if I can have a reasonably good final sector, I can have a pretty good lap and actually set myself up nicely for the race as we go into the chicane through the flip flop, getting it nicely set up there. The bike quickly changing direction there quite nicely as we now go through the final corner, and it looks like it's been a pretty good lap so far, and surely this lap will be pretty competitive for us as we come across the line any second now. And there we go. Is the lap good enough? Yes, it is. It's pole position at Catalunya out of nowhere. I must have gained like half a second in the final sector there. Unbelievable. We've beaten Marc Marquez to pole position around Catalunya, and also Andrea Dovizioso there. So wow, absolutely incredible. And it's a Ducati by Honda sort of order there in the top 5, but absolutely incredible qualifying, and we're now going to carry that on to the race. And here we go then, we're going to gear up to the 4 red lights for the Spanish Grand Prix, and we're lights out and away we go. And it's a pretty poor start after 9, very slow reaction times on the new bike here for our first race start on the Ducati. But here we go, racing down into the first corner. We're currently racing quite a few bikes, but the straight line speed of ours really does shine through. And look at that, both of the Ducatis, Lorenzo and Dovizioso, getting great starts there, up into 1, 2, and Crutchlow as well into third place. So really good starts from those guys here. But as you can see, now going through the turn 3 here, making sure we stay right at the back of Cal Crutchlow. Don't want to let him go, because I want to try and make it a Ducati 1, 2, 3 early on here, and that'd be absolutely fantastic for the team and the constructors. As now we've got Pedrosa looking up the inside at turn number 4 here, so I'm going to have to tongue through Slipstream a little bit, maybe lining up for a pop down the inside of turn 5. It's going to be very close up the inside. I'm going to make it work though, and look at that, a little bit of an argy-bargy there, but the moves come off nicely for us, and we're back up into 4th place. And now we can try and hunt down Cal Crutchlow on the LCR Honda here, as you can see, going through the chicane of turn 7 and 8, getting a good exit here actually, and I'm using all the curb at my disposal as I go up the inside of Cal Crutchlow at turn 9, using all the curb. Crutchlow holding it around the outside beautifully there, and I'm going to have to sit behind him for now and wait a little bit longer to make the pass on the British rider here as we go into the hairpin for the first time this race. Second gear corner, a little bit hot on the brakes there, but not too bad, recovering quite nicely. And now we're going to get a good run on Crutchlow through this swooping left and right combination, and as you can see, I'm going to get a good bit of exit speed out of here. Crutchlow's right in front of me. I'm going to try and go for the dive on the brakes now through the right hander, slightly off camber corner here, and I make the move beautifully to make it a Ducati 1, 2, 3 here at Catalunya, the track where Dovizioso actually won in real life and Lorenzo came home in P3. So a track that you could say suits the red bikes quite nice as we come out the final corner. And so far, it's been a brilliant opening lap here at Catalunya. And now we're trying to hunt down Jorge Lorenzo, and one of the home favourites here as we come on to the start of lap number 3. First up of the race from Dovizioso, and here we go right on the toe of Lorenzo here. Look at the speed, 350 k's as we break from the first corner, running in a little bit hot there, using Lorenzo as a brake, and they go up the inside of the Spanish rider, but Lorenzo still holding the inside beautifully there as we go side by side into turn 3, and eventually I get the move done there, but Lorenzo once again not done yet. He cuts back underneath me through turn 3, getting a much better exit line. He's got the power on nice and early there. I'm going to look around the outside, but Lorenzo still looking for the move as he goes up the inside of turn 4 as I'm running a little bit too hot on the brakes once again. And Lorenzo's made it stick there, and just showing me that, you know, he's the more experienced man on this Ducati machine, even though the most experienced man here is Andrea Dovizioso right ahead of us, because Lorenzo only joined the team this season, so this is only like his 4th race on the Ducati, and this is only my first race on the Ducati, or at least the factory one anyway. So as you can see, now coming out the final corner, we're right at the toe of Lorenzo at the end of that lap, onto lap number 4. Once again, picking up the toe on the Spanish rider, going to pull to the inside. Once again, hitting almost 340 k's here as we break it for turn 1. Lorenzo then matching me in the brake, then back up my inside, but then I go back up his inside into turn 1. Incredible trading of places here, and me and Lorenzo really mixing it up here at Catalunya. Really nice, good moves to see there as we go through turn 3, carrying good speed through the corner and short shifting through the gears to get optimum traction and exit speed. And we've made the move there. Lorenzo stick quite nicely, and we cut all the way onto the final lap of the race, because even though my lap times were good, I was pretty much matching Dovi up ahead, and we was exchanging faster laps of the race. So Dovi had some really good pace, and he's going to come home to win the Spanish Grand Prix here at Catalunya, and I'm going to come home in 2nd place in my Ducati debut, picking up a podium position. And what a good race that was, and a really good result for me on the Ducati there. And a really good opening and just fun race to kick things off here in Catalunya. And you know, still that first win of the MotoGP class still eluding me slightly. However, in the next race we do go to Assen, which is a track that in Moto3 and Moto2 I absolutely dominated in, so we'll have to see how that one pans out. As you can see, Dovi wins, and it's a Ducati 1-2-3 at Catalunya. Now moving on to Assen in Q1 qualifying. As you can see here, it's a wet session, so the wet conditions have normally favoured me in the past here, and I'm currently on my Q1 lap, 3 red sectors, so I'm the fastest man on track right now. 8 tenths up through the first sector as we now come through the final corner across the line. Do we go fastest? Yes we do, and we don't just go fastest, we go fastest by 2.2 seconds. Wow, that's unbelievable. I've got new boots, new gloves, new helmet design for this race, a new number design, and I don't know if that's contributed to my overall speed or not, but we've absolutely smashed it in Q1, and Alicia Spargaro joins us in Q2 on the Aprilia. So speaking of Q2, we're going to jump straight into it now and kick off our lap here. And it's once again similar conditions, and let's see what our pace is like in here, because I do feel confident around this circuit as we bring it down beautifully for the apex of turn 1. We get past the traffic there quite nicely, so let's crack on with our lap. But so far it's been a really good opening start to the lap here, and as we cut later on, I'm on basically almost the fast lap of the race here, and 3 purple sectors, or should I say red sectors, as we go through the final chicane now, getting a good exit out the final corner. And here we go up to the line. What's the lap going to be? It's going to be first place, and once again by 2.2 seconds we've absolutely just demolished the field around here at Assen. And I don't know what it is, but the AR must be pretty poor around here, but either way I'm on the money around this circuit. This is my favourite circuit on the calendar, and rightly you can really see my pace. I mean, look at that pole position ahead of Marquez, and Vinales and Rossi there in 3rd and 4th. So not too bad there, and quite interesting to see that Petrucci actually getting ahead of Dovi there, and also Lorenzo. So the Pramac beating both of the factory Ducatis there. But we're now going to jump into the race here for Assen, gearing up to the 4 red lights, and it's going to be lights out, and away we go for the Dutch Grand Prix here. And a pretty good exit actually, with a little bit of a shaky one, but not as bad as the last race, so we are improving slightly on our starts here. And as we now go into turn 1 for the first time, Dovi and Petrucci making good starts. Petrucci up into 2nd place on the Pramac, so really good start from him there. Meanwhile, I've had a pretty poor one from 1st down to 6th place here, so I've got to recover some positions as we move now later on, a couple of corners after, and I'm right behind Dovi here. I'm going to try and size him up for a move in this slow left-hander as I get really late on the brakes, cut back underneath him, also getting past Valentino there, squirting the power on in these sort of wet, semi-dry, wet conditions. And I'm going to have a drag race here with Dovi down this straight into the very far sort of right-hand, left-hand complex chicane here as we drop it a gear, try and take a nice bit of speed through there. Dovi though covering the inside. Rossi looking back on my inside there, but I just about get my bike across to defend from him. And we're now going to look up the inside of Dovi through here, but there's just no way through. Nice defensive riding there from the Italian, but I get great exit speed out of that corner. And I'm going to be right on the back of him here. And I'm going to try and size him up for a move on the brakes as I take a very shallow, low line into the corner there. But Dovi doing a great job of holding it around the outside. And he's going to match me there quite nicely as now Rossi's trying to get my inside through this very slow, long winding right-hander. And I'm going to short shift up into third here to try and get a good exit. As you can see, second gear now, and now shifting to third gear. And now we've got past Valet and also getting a good run on Dovi here, just squeezing through on the back straight. So much speed through this section, replaced by Lorenzo. Infamously broke his collarbone a couple of years ago. And now we've got a good run on Petrucci as we go up the inside of him through the left-hander. And now into the final chicane. What are we like on the brakes? Not very good as Petrucci absolutely just demolishes me on the brakes there. But we're up into P4, recovered quite nicely, and then we get a good exit out of the chicane there, hitting Petrucci there very close. We could have easily both fallen off the bike there. And now we've got Vinales and Marquez scrapping it out for first place. I'm going to go up the inside here, tap Vinales, go past Marquez, and I'm already up into second place. So recovering positions very nicely here at Assen. And I'm looking at the inside of Vinales here, but I just can't quite squeeze through. He's covering quite nicely the defensive line. And I'm going to look for the short run into this right-hander again, but Vinales defending very nicely. Instead now, going into the slow apex left-hand, I'm going to cut right back underneath him, squeeze him out, give him a bit of the elbow treatment, and then there we go. We've taken first place back, and we can now try and power on and try and get away from these guys around this circuit, which I so desperately want to try and win and get my first win on the board for Ducati and in the MotoGP class. As you can see now, on to lap number 3 on the grass slightly there, but look on the minimap, the gap we've got to Vinales already. It just goes to show, and I set a fast up of the race in the process. So I'm really working well around here, and there is no there's no middle ground. I'm just really fast around the circuit. As you can see, on to lap number 5 now, and I can't turn to another fast lap of the Grand Prix. So my pace is absolutely on another planet at the moment around Assen, and I'm the man to beat around this circuit. And it looks like, unless anything else does go wrong, I'm on the cards here to try and get my first race win in the Premier class, and my first race win for Ducati, which is absolutely incredible. It's been a long time coming, but a big win, and a much needed 25 points for the championship, because if I want to challenge for the title this season, I'm going to need to get a few wins under my belt and recover from that poor Pramac. But here we go, across the line, and we get the 25 points and win the Dutch Grand Prix. And what a race that was, and a very dominant performance there with the fast up in the process, as you'd expect. And Valentino Rossi, the championship leader, down in P7. I believe he fell off during the race, so that's going to cost him a few extra points, and those are a few extra points for me in the championship. But Vinales brings it home in second place ahead of Marquez, and Dovi brings it home in P4 on the other Ducati with Petrucci ending up in P6 there, and Lorenzo just about beating Scott Redding on the factory Ducati there. But we're now going to move into the next one in Sachsenring, and we're currently in Q1 here. As you can see, setting 3 fastest sectors on our opening lap in Q1 here. I did set a lap before that just to get the feelers out, but here we go. On our second attempt, we do comfortably get first place by 7/10 of a second. That's going to see us through quite nicely into the second part of qualifying, and Alicia Spargro once again is going to join us in the second part of qualifiers. Scott Redding just missing out there, so very unfortunate one for him there. But now moving into Q2 for my best lap of the session. So here we go then. I've set a lap pretty okay, P5 so far. As we go into turn 1, you're going to get it down to second gear, try and bring it down for the apex, slightly off camber corner here, so you'll be very careful with riding wide as we now squirt the power on through this short little squirt through turn 2, the swooping left-hander that feeds into turn 3. There's once again another swooping right-hander now. This track full of sweeping corners here, so you got to be very smooth with the bike and have a nice bit of finesse about you as we get a purple, or should I say a fastest first sector. Now going through this long left-hander here, double apex left-hander, which feeds into a downhill sort of carousel, and we're right behind the sort of bike here. We have a little bit of traffic, which isn't ideal, but we get some nice speed down the hill here as we come across the second sector split. It's still fastest as we now go under the little GoPro bridge through the left-hander again. This track famous for its amount of left-hand corners as we now go over the crest. Can I get up the inside of Crutchlow there? Yes, I do, and manage to shake off the traffic as we now turn the bike right for the infamous waterfall. Really nice line through the corner there, really nice run, and I'm currently up in the third sector as we've only got a couple more corners to negotiate here as I go for the penultimate corner here. Second gear, Crutchlow barges me out of the way, and I'm 8/10 up, and that's going to cost me and my advantage quite severely here as Crutchlow really upsetting my rhythm here on the lap as we go through the final corner, making sure I keep it nice and tidy through the final corner, squirting the power on across the line, and it's pole position at the Sachsenring by a tenth of a second. And as you can see there, Crutchlow trying to disturb me, but luckily the 8/10 I had in my pocket in the third sector were enough to see me through in the final sector. And that is going to be first place in the German Grand Prix and another pole position here. And around the track where Marquez and Pedrosa, the Honda bikes, have previously dominated in years before. I mean, Marquez is now the king of the Sachsenring, and before that it was Pedrosa, and this is just a Honda track, but for some reason I've just pulled out the bag here on the Ducati, and Dobby is the nearest challenger to me in P5. But we're now going to move into the race, as you can see here, gearing up to the 4 red lights. It's going to be lights out, and away we go for the German Grand Prix. This time, a pretty good start, I've got to say. P3, the starts are getting slowly better and better on the Ducati here, but here we go into turn 1. Rossi and Viñales up my inside, also a couple of Ducatis there, but I'm going to get a nice run around the outside and also look up the inside possibly of Valentino through turn 2. Instead I decided to stick back for now, and I leave the inside open for Viñales to make the move because I don't want to crash into anybody. Iannone there up into P5, making a good start. He's looking to try and get past me there early on, but here we go through the double apex left-hander, just sitting behind the 2 Yamaha guys right now. Run a little bit wide there through the second apex, which isn't going to help me, and I'm going to lose a little bit of time, which isn't ideal, as we now go down the hill for the first time here through the carousel section, and now underneath the GoPro sponsor board through this lovely little swooping left-hander. And look at this, Viñales all over Rossi. I'm going to go over the crest now. Can we gain any time? This is the corner where I gain the most, and there we go. We get past Viñales, just squeezing him out, and now flicking the bike right for the waterfall here, cutting right back underneath Valentino Rossi, just about avoiding the curb there, and I'm up into second place. And I look up the inside of Marquez there into his left-hander, but the AI are absolutely ridiculous on the brakes through here, so I luckily managed to stay ahead of Valentino there, and I'm in second place right now as I try to hunt down Mr. Marquez as we go through the final corner. Valentino looking at my inside again. This time he just about makes it, but then I just get the traction on the exit to keep him behind me, and a crucial move to keep the Doctor behind because he's a championship leader, so it's going to be hard to beat the Valentino Rossi, the GOAT, the absolute most experienced man on the field right now at 38 years of age. As you can see, he goes up my inside again at turn 1 here, so Rossi really making that challenge for me. Viñales still not there, he still hasn't gone away, he's still there, so I've got to be very careful and aware of my surroundings as we go through this sort of swooping right-hander up the hill now, approaching the double apex left-hander, and I'm looking at a possible move on Rossi as he get a good run up the inside of the Doctor here, and I make a nice little move up the inside and back up into second place there, and that was a nice little cheeky move there, just getting the bike pulled down for the apex, and I'm now once again in second place as we now try to hunt down Mr. Mad Marquez himself, the main man who's obviously, like I said before, the king of the Sachsenring. Here we go through the sponsor board left-hander, and we're going to go over the blind crest once again. Not Viñales, Marquez going a little bit wide there, almost onto the curb, and I'm going to get a great run through the corner. It's going to put me right at the back of him as we go almost flat out through the waterfall, getting onto the curb slightly. I make the move into first place, but now on the brakes, Marquez having absolutely none of it as he goes back up my inside, and it's a fantastic move from the Spaniard to re-overtake me, but then I just switch back, run underneath him, and now to the final corner. Marquez again back up my inside. I try to get the power on the exit and get a good exit, a little bit of contact between the two of us, and I just outpower him on the Ducati machine as we go into turn 1 now. Marquez still on my inside. Can I make the move? Marquez is going to run a little bit wide on the apex here. I'm going to keep it nice and tight, but Marquez bring the bike back in beautifully there. I'm still going to go up the inside though and make the move work for first place on lap 5 now out of 8. So really good riding here this lap so far, and I'm now into the lead at the Sachsenring, so really good job so far. But Marquez, you can guarantee he's not done yet. He's going to want that race win around the Sachsenring and try and get his season back on track. And I get a bit of a scruffy line here through this left-hander onto the grass, which isn't going to help me, so just not carrying enough speed through there, and a little bit of a corner cut, which is going to leave Marquez right at the back of me, and I swing out really wide here through this carousel, and Marquez is going to be up my inside here as we go onto the brakes into the responsible. Marquez makes a nice little lunge up the inside, and he makes it work for first place. I'm going to try and respond now by going over the hill, and let's see if I can make the move on him. I go onto the outside, onto the grass, onto the gravel though, get it all wrong on the braking, and that's going to allow Rossi and also Viñales. I think no, Viñales stays behind for now, but Rossi's got past me, so there's Viñales just behind us. So I'm demoted back down to P3 for the time being. Viñales, there he is up the inside, he's making the move. He's just stuck his bike in and he's made it work up the inside. Fantastic move there from Maverick, and I'm now down to P4, so not ideal here at the Sachsenring, and that one little mistake costing me so much time, and Marquez is now so far up the road. But here we go down the hill now on lap 6, and right behind Viñales, taking a really wide line through there as we now go through this left-hander, getting a much nicer run than Viñales, cutting straight back underneath him there, getting a nice early apex, and using the gears to try and get the nose of the bike in And there we go, made the move up into 3rd place once again now on lap 6. As we cut now onto the final lap of the Grand Prix. I'm right behind Valentino Rossi, but I'm just starting to run out of tyres and I couldn't really catch him. As we go through the waterfall here, I am close, but I'm not really close enough, and I think these are going to be the finishing positions here this race as I go through the penultimate corner, really trying to push the bike here and catch up to Valentino, but he's just a little bit too far ahead and I can't really make anything happen here. As we go into the final corner, Vinales is behind us, he's not going to overtake me, and there we go. I think at the final corner, P3 is going to be the finishing position here at the Sachsenring, and still a very good result and 3 podiums in a row in this episode, and the Ducati debut off to an absolute flying start here. As you can see, looking at the final race results, the king of the Sachsenring himself, Marc Marquez, wins once again at the circuit, with Valentino Rossi joining him on the podium and myself in P3, Vinales in P4, and Dovizioso in the other Ducati in P5, with Petrucci once again beating Jorge Lorenzo, which is quite interesting reading, with Scott Redding down there in P13 on the old 2016 machine. But for the Riders' Championship, you can see that Valentino Rossi is still leading the way, and these last few results have sort of kept me in the championship fight, 39 points adrift of the Doctor, thanks to a couple of podiums. So that's going to be a really good result for us to take back to the factory and try and build upon these results in the next few races. But hope you guys have enjoyed the episode here today, and if you have, then please leave a big thumbs up on the video. Also subscribe to my channel if you're new around here for future MotoGP and F1 content, and if you haven't missed any of the videos on screen right now, then I do urge you to go check them out if you haven't done so already. But I thank you guys ever so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.